Hello, Dwight Norris of fishingnetwork.com, and today we're going to be talking about lunch breaks at work. More specifically, the lunch breaks you could be taking at work, but you want to take fishing. Or if you even haven't even thought about fishing during your lunch break, it's something you can do. You can also do other things as well. But let's talk more about the intricacies of making it happen. A lot of people may have thought of this or thought about the before or the after, and they've come into thoughts about how to deal with people that are involved with that specifically. Whether it's your boss, or maybe it's your wife, or it's dealing with your children, there are different things you need to do to maybe calm your nerves about it. Dealing with your family and your children should be an easier thing to do. They're your children, it's your wife, it's your husband, and you know or should know how to talk to them about what you want to do. So if you would like to fish before and after, obviously you have to gain some type of permission. And I actually have a video where I talk about getting permission to fish. I believe that's the title, but it's in the blog post, and it's also on the YouTube channel. You can subscribe to that and get that easily. But the harder one is actually dealing with your boss or your co-workers, or pretty much anybody else in your office or workspace or wherever you work, and trying to deal with like that possible problem. So you're going to be thinking all sorts of things. What if somebody finds out? What if I go late? What if I leave at the wrong time? What if I can't get back on time? What if I do it too often and people get wary of maybe I'm going out on, you're going to look for another job, but you're not, or you're doing something else unscrupulous, or if you just don't really care about your job and you'd rather be fishing, which, you know, how can you not deny that? Who wants to work? Really? No. I don't think anybody wants to work, or at least wants to work for somebody else. Actually, I think working for yourself is even harder, because it's hard to, tell yourself no. But that's an entrepreneurial thing. So, how do you deal with this? You have to think about it, I believe, sort of differently. You have your goal, which is to go fishing more, and I presented a possible solution, which is to fish at work. And you see many different issues in between there. You're thinking, is this even viable? Is this possible? Maybe even you've looked at the 10-step process to go fishing at work, PDF that provided on the website, fishingnetwork.com, and you're still a little befuddled. I mean, you haven't contacted me yet to get a solution for your problem or to ease your fears. That is a applicable thing. It really depends on what you're doing and how you're doing it. Now, I will deplore you. If you have a job, you should work very hard and do your job and work your hours as you're supposed to. Whatever the laws are in your state or in your workplace, you follow those laws. What I'm stating is you have a period of time which you're allowed to do something else other than work. And you should use this wisely for whatever you need to do. You can do chores, you can do errands, or you can go fishing. It's a great thing. So there are what we call like lunch break laws, or legal breaks at work, and those are generally provided by the state, or I believe there's a federal one as well, but the states have their own which they may follow, and then the company may follow that, or they might follow the federal one. But you should learn what these things are. When you start a new job, they aren't like written on the job post. They're not plastered on a wall at work. But if you ask around, you talk to HR and say, hey, how does lunch work around here? Can I like leave for an hour? Is it a half an hour? Do I have to stay at the job to eat? So you can get the answer nonchalantly without having to go into too much detail about what you're doing, if you care at all. Somebody asks me specifically, I'm going to tell them, hey, I'm going fishing during my lunch break, because I don't like to sit in the office and waste time. I want to do what I love to do, which is fishing. Simple as that. So, if you're, open and honest, you can do that as well. But not everybody wants to do that. A lot of people want to remain, to themselves and have their fun, and then go back to work and, continue doing a good job. And nobody's the wiser. And you won't have to deal with any confrontations. I myself am a introvert naturally, but here I am on a video talking to possibly more and more people every day. And every day I do it, I get more comfortable. And you're probably thinking, this guy is an extrovert, or at least a middle ground. But no, this is not what I naturally do. But I can help myself improve. And you can do that for fishing as well. Now, how do you get over this goal mark? Basically, you have a goal. And you may believe that if things don't go right all the way through, it's a failure and you should stop. But that's probably the worst way of thinking about it. To reach pretty much any goal, it's a different kind of step process. You probably think that on either side of you is either success or failure, just like you believe there's a good or bad. But in reality, to reach your success, you have to go through failure. You should go into it knowing that you may fail, and that's where you're supposed to learn. You tried something, maybe you left at 11:30 and then stayed for an hour. You're like, oh cool, got my lunch hour, and then you got back at 12:30, and people ask because they weren't on their lunch hour, and they asked you, where were you? And you're like, oh, I didn't want anybody to ask me about what I was doing during my lunch hour. I just took it a half an hour earlier. I thought that was okay. Maybe that didn't work out. So you try again, instead of saying this doesn't work, and you leave at 12, which is when everybody else goes to lunch. And then everybody else thinks you're going to lunch. You're going to lunch alone. You're going somewhere else. And they don't really care because they're doing their own thing. And you get back at the same time, and then nobody cares or knows what you were doing, and you don't have to deal with the confrontation. That's how you can improve. That's how you can move forward, and that's how you can reach your success with this fishing at work thing. Now, I won't proclaim that, some people don't like you doing anything, and that's a tough place to work. It shouldn't be. You shouldn't be working in a work environment like that, but maybe it's all you can get in your area, and it's the best paying job, and you have to deal with people maybe you don't like. And you might already know this before you even try, and you're trying to relieve that stress, knowing that somebody's going to be up in your case immediately. So the advice I can give for that is to start looking for a better place to work. And if you're in a general, of your expertise is, try to improve it, see where the market's going for your line of work, and look for that next level, and do whatever you need to do, the training, online, offline, on site, to get to that next level. And then talk to your bosses about getting promotion, find out what you need to do to get that promotion, and then focus on that one thing until you reach your next level. Maybe it's the 6-month review or the 1-year review, and say, hey, I've completed these steps that you stated I needed to do to get a promotion, and then you get that, and you continue it. And they might say, oh, you missed something here, you missed something there, and then you give them one more try. And if they, give you the old glass ceiling again, tell you no, even though you did exactly what they said, one, you're in a bad place of work, and two, you need to work even harder to go out and look for something else. And I always say you should be trying to improve yourself anyway. Maybe you like where you're working, you can move inside. Maybe you don't like where you're working, you should be looking for somewhere else to work. Or maybe you're trying to do something by yourself and getting out of the workplace and working for yourself in your own business. Anything's really possible. So I want you to take that to heart when you are thinking about how you can fish more often, not just at work, but before and after, and dealing with people, and that it's not an A or B thing. There are other courses of action. There are C's and D's, and there's better ways of actually interacting with people. It's not cut and dry. There's other things you can do, and success isn't about, does it work one time when I tried, and if it didn't work, it's over. You know, I'm a failure. This thing is a failure. I'm stopping everything. I'm gonna go do something else. I'm gonna go after that next shiny object that somebody told me about, because this doesn't work because it didn't work the first time. That's not the way it works. Failure is the way to success. You may or may not have heard that before, but if you look around, you keep your ears open. Well, keep your ears open for things that people are saying, real experts, you'll start to hear that a lot. So, this is Dwight Norris, fishingnetwork.com, telling you that failure is the way to success.